It is coming to you guys live from downtown Denver, Colorado, in the Rhino District at Roadrunner headquarters. This is our third show, guys, and we want to thank everybody for joining. This has been an exciting time for us. It's been a lot of fun doing these shows, and we're trying to get better and better as we go. I'm Dale. I'm the owner of Roadrunner Scooters, and this is Tyson, my sidekick over here. Tyson, how you doing, man?
Great.
Yeah?
Amazing.
Yeah. So Tyson's kind of stressed out. He's kind of putting all this together at the last minute.
Well, it would help if other things were happening, but we won't talk about that on live air. So.
It's always my fault, of course. Of course. Anyhow, and then we've got Travis behind the scenes, and you guys may hear say Travis's name. He is actually a part of the team as well, and he's actually putting this whole thing together behind the scenes. So it looks a little more professional than just a regular podcast or whatever. So
we got David too helping out. He'll be answering questions and whatnot.
Yeah, and so that was the fourth person. So David will be online, chatting with you guys. And if you guys have questions, please, we want questions, guys, and we want to answer them. So that's why we do this. We want to have this as interactive as possible. The main goal today, Tyson.
Well, the main goal is, I'll sort of backtrack real quick, is this is our third comparison for the scooter models we have. We compared the RS6 Ultra to some scooters. We compared the RX-7 a couple weeks ago, and now we're doing the RS5 comparisons to the Apollo Phantom, the Nami Klima, the Tevrun Blade GT II, and the Kaabo Mantis King GT. And the goal is to show customers, potential customers, that, the difference between the two. A lot of people call, email asking, okay, well, why is the RS5 better than the Kaabo Mantis? And, it's one thing to talk on the phone, or they can look it up, look at the specs. But we've learned that since the past two shows, I've had, a lot of people say, well, this actually really helped watching the videos and watching the replays. Even if you can't watch live, you can still go back and watch what we're doing, watch the comparison shows and any other live streams we do. And what they've said is this has really helped in determining, me buying a Roadrunner scooter for this reason, whether it's customer service, whether, we talked about why we designed the RS6 the way we did and what special features it has. That sort of pushed them over the edge to purchasing with us. Or maybe, maybe they ended up buying something else, but we don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, the main thing is we were trying to point out, guys, is, we're not trying to tell you our scooter's better. I mean, we think it is,
right.
But we're kind of, we're kind of one-sided anyway.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we honestly want to show you guys the differences. We know we have a premium scooter, okay, in every class. And so with that said, we want to be able to share with you guys what makes our scooters premium and what makes, Roadrunner what we feel like is, the best option.
Oh, here, I'm going to put this on mute. And I'll be trying to ask Dale questions that we see from the chat. So if you want to ask a question, you're going to go to the screen where there's a little, where is that? The little arrow. They've changed the features. Up. Just a second.
Where is it? They did change it. Melissa. We're going to have to get on Melissa. Melissa.
Well, I think it's the settings, actually.
Oh, is it user error?
Just a second.
Anyway, so as he's doing that, again, the most important thing, guys, is everybody's kind of settling in. We're still getting people coming in to the rooms. Okay,
I got it. So if you want to join the conversation, you have to just put your name in, and then a little box is going to come up where you can actually send a message. We'll see it, and then we can type. So we want to hear questions from you. We want to answer them as much as we can. We ask that, if you are asking questions, today we'd like it, you ask questions about the RS5, and also any customer service questions you have as well.
Yeah, and I think an important thing to note, because again, we're learning, guys, as we go along, but I think an important thing to note is, if you guys have something to offer that you feel like would be beneficial, because this is kind of a forum, right? We want this to be interactive and we want everybody involved. So you guys can give us some feedback that we've not mentioned that you feel like you might be a key buying experience, whatever it was key in your buying experience, and so you might want to pass that along. If you're whatever, you guys welcome to interact however you want to.
Exactly. So today we are doing the RS5 Max, mainly RS5 Max compared to the scooters we just mentioned. So.
Now, let me point that out. So,
Yeah.
so guys, this is the Roadrunner RS5. This is the Max, okay? And there's also a Roadrunner RS5 Pro. The only difference in these scooters, guys, and it's kind of confusing sometimes, but it's very simple, okay? The battery. That's it. What's that? Yeah. So the battery is the only thing that is the difference, in these two scooters. That's it. Everything else is identical, okay? So remember that.
All right, so before we talk about the RS5, and thank you RS5 Pro SAF Blue for loving your RS5 Pro. Let's talk about just a little bit about Roadrunner scooters, and not a lot. We've gone over this a lot, but let's talk about a little bit why we're here and what we do differently.
So where's my?
Oh yeah, sorry. So we're gonna pull up the notes, but it's also right here. So
yeah. So guys, we've been in business for 6 years. Roadrunner has. We started as a distributor the first couple of years. So since then, we have become a manufacturer. Okay, so Roadrunner is the only U.S. owned high performance electric scooter company in the United States. Period. Okay, and we actually our brand we design in house. Okay, we manufacture our own scooters in our private factory in Shanghai. And we sell our own scooters. So we are the only brand, okay, that is involved in charge of the whole process from start to end. And we actually sell that product. And we don't sell another product. There's not another brand in this house, okay? So we've got a 5,000 square foot facility in downtown Denver. We've got a really nice size showroom, a great service department, and we kind of pat ourselves on the back. So it's kind of how I got in the business a long time ago. But we actually we try to stock almost always 95% of every single part that's on every one of our scooters at all times here in Denver, Colorado. I just cringe when somebody has to say we have to wait for China, for the part to get here. It drives me crazy. So, we do a good job with inventory. We do a great job with, customer service after the sale. And guys, let me tell you something. If you never bought a scooter before and you're looking, I'm telling you, the half of the agenda is, getting the scooter right. And the other half is getting the company right that you're buying from. It is huge, guys.
all right, and so let's talk about the design philosophy of the RS5. This is our oldest scooter that we have designed. Have sold thousands of RS5s, but so this sort of dovetails into what you're talking about our philosophy. But what sort of why did we make the RS5 when we were looking at other scooters? Why did we want to set it? What set the RS5 apart from the scooter?
So let me scoop a little. So the RS5 guys, this was our first in-house design. Okay, so keep in mind, this is our third rendition of this scooter, okay? So we've had 3 times to perfect it, and I can tell you right now, we've got it dialed in. This is exactly where I want it. So this, what we do different and, what we offer to everybody and what we want, people to understand is not only the service and everything afterwards, but, the product itself. We put the most premium components that we can on a scooter, okay? You're not going to find another brand, for instance, that sells PMT tires in stock on scooters. Now, we have them on the R6 and the R7. This scooter, obviously, is the lower end scooter with, more affordable. But at the same time, we still like to go as high on the components as we can. So this scooter and all Roadrunner scooters, they have special things about them. We'll kind of get into those in a little bit. But, this scooter was created around in the mindset of, commutability. We want to be able to commute with the scooter. Okay. You want to be able to, feel comfortable, this is a key point too, guys. This is an 88-pound scooter, okay? So some people think the scooter's kind of maybe a little bit heavy or whatever, but it's 88 pounds. I don't apologize about the weight, okay? It's a 50-mile-an-hour scooter. Most people don't go 50 miles an hour, but some people do. I love speed. But with that said, if you're going a high rate of speed, guys, you want some durability under you. You want to feel solid, okay? You feel solid on this scooter. It is a well designed and well built scooter. It is a workhorse, okay? But this one, we wanted to make sure, and again, what we do when we design these guys is we listen to everybody's feedback. All over, the period of time, we take all the negative, all the positive, we put everything together, and we try to mold it into one scooter, okay? This is the third rendition, like I said. What we've done, we've had time to tweak it, change it, whatever. We've gotten better at this, guys. The RX-7 was even better than this one. And then the next one, was the RX-6 was even better than the first rendition of this one. Like, it gets better and better, okay? The RS6, guys, we've had zero issues with, like none. It's amazing. I can tell you this: the big boys that are mass producing these things can't say that. I can promise you. Tyson. I mean, Tyson. He answers calls all day long. He hears this stuff. But back to the RS5, guys. We just feel like this scooter is an all-around, well-designed scooter for someone who's, and this is a key too, guys, and we've been pointing this out to people. A lot of people are like, oh, I've never owned a scooter before, Tyson. They never owned a scooter. They'll spend $1,000 on a starter scooter, and it's like, okay, if you would just use the lower end speeds on this scooter and and just kind of work your way into it, you're going to develop and you're going to advance really quick,
right.
And so, we know, because we've heard the story many times, guys, people will come back and say, oh, we trade this scooter. We don't take trades. No scooters, you can't do it. We don't take trades. So, with that said, they've wasted $700, $800, $900, whatever, $1,000. And then, they're wanting to go to the next round, within 3 to 6 months. It happens a lot, guys. So think about that. Okay, if you're looking at to get into buying a scooter and you've not bought one before and you're a beginner, I can tell you this can be a beginner scooter and you can work your way into it so you can get the best of both worlds. Save yourself some money. Okay, don't go out and buy a beginner scooter. Ride this scooter. Okay, for the first 3 or 4 or 5 months, you're going to feel completely comfortable and you're going to want to go up. Trust me, you're going to want to advance and you're going to be out that money that you spent on that cheaper scooter.
That's a great point, and I think a lot of people don't. Again, you get what you pay for. In the long run, it's going to pay off dividends, for spending a little bit more money in the long initially, but the long run, you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, back to your point though, it's like, we wanted a scooter that was, commutable and, one that was, obviously well built, that had, all the key components on it, that is safe. The safety is the number one thing that we, have in mind when we design these things. And this scooter is the way it's designed and the components it has on it. And then people go, well, why do you just put high-end components? No, high-end components have a high-end name for a reason, okay? Because they're damn good components, all right? And so, if you combine those components and you don't shave off, there's so many competitors out there that will, they will not give you a branded battery. Okay, we offer a non-branded battery. We give you that option, but we also give you the option of the branded battery. Okay, and that's the max. But there's things like the brakes. The branded brakes, and we use Nut or Magura brakes. That's it. That's all we use. Okay, we don't use Zoom. We don't use generic brakes. Guys, that's a huge difference, okay? You start adding these things up, IP67 rated, okay? All of our scooters are IP67 rated. IP67 rated, guys, that the definition, don't go do it, but you can immerse that scooter in water for 30 minutes. That is the definition, okay?
Do not do that, please.
Yeah, please don't do that. I'm sure probably some of them have done it, but whatever. But we're the only, okay? And I say this, guys, and I'm not trying to brag. I mean, it is a fact that you need to know when you're buying your scooter, okay? These little things they're not little things really, they're big things, but they all add up. And at the end, if you look at the whole package, okay, we want you guys to understand that we feel like we offer the final package that is the best presentation for your needs and the best value for your money in the end and the safest value for your money. So, that's what we're trying to convey. That's it, Yep.
And so let's go to the specs of the RS5 Max real quick. So okay. Travis, if you could pull up the RS5
Travis,
Max specs,
how you doing, buddy?
Sort of
I can't hear Travis, but I'm sure he's doing fine.
So people can see him.
Yeah. All right. So.
All right. Here we go.
All right. So, all right, guys. So, one thing that, this scooter, obviously it's got all Roadrunner scooters have removable batteries. Okay, that is good. What is important about that? And some people don't think that's important. Yeah, let me tell you something. When you go to charge your scooter, okay, you have to have the entire scooter, wherever that charging port is, wherever the plug-in is, the entire scooter. It can get to a point where you just get tired of lugging that thing around. Okay, now guys, you can separate the two. You can take the battery out, leave the big ass scooter wherever you want to leave it, the garage, cold garage, or wherever. The battery you take over by the charge, and you can charge it then, and it's so much nicer. Or if you're a long distance rider, you can put a second one in your backpack. We have a lot of riders that do it. Put one in your backpack, and they ride as long as and then when it dies, they pull over. And guys, within 20 seconds, you can swap them out, put the other one in your backpack, and go. Okay, that's the beauty of that. The battery is the most expensive thing that you'll replace on an electric scooter. You want to protect it. It's got what you get with the removable battery, guys, is any other scooter out there. Okay, and there's not another removable battery in this class. I can tell you that right now. There's 10 screws. It's a pain in the ass to get inside the deck. Okay, if you have to do anything, you got to get inside the deck. Okay, so that makes it so much more accessible. It has a hinged door with a key on it to protect the battery, okay? But if you want to take that battery out, we have a lot of people that go, drive to work, go to school, they lock the scooter up, and they take the battery out into the office or into the schoolyard, and they're good. So, there's a lot of different variations for this, and it's a very important fact to understand. A removable battery, guys, is key, okay? All right, so the next thing is...
Actually, we're going to talk about all our specs throughout the show.
Yeah, that's fine.
So people don't get bored.
Yeah, we don't bore you guys.
So I don't get bored, honestly. Let's go to the RS5 Max versus the Kaabo Mantis King GT. So we will pull the specs up for that. We'll compare them on the screen for you guys. And then we're going to talk about, we're not just going to compare them because anybody can do that, right? We're going to actually say why one is better than the other. So for the example, Travis is showing the Kaabo versus the Mantis, or the Kaabo Mantis versus the RS5. We're going to talk about the battery specs first. Now, a lot of the scooters we're comparing the RS5 to are actually 60-volt batteries. So,
and that's important, guys.
So if you can explain to me or everybody else why a 52-volt, 32-amp-hour battery is just as good, if not better, than a 60-volt battery. So you'll see the RS5 has a 52-volt, 32-amp-hour LG battery, while the Kaabo has a 60-volt, 24-amp lithium-ion battery that's a non-branded Chinese battery. So right off, I'm like, okay, 60 is more than 52, but 32 is more than 24. So what's the difference?
But see, most people, guys, they don't see that 32 number. Or if you're not smart about it, like if you're not really in tune to, the scooters, you don't see that. You see the 60 volt, okay, because that's what's advertised, and you see the 52 volt that's advertised, okay? Guys, so the 60 volt that's being advertised, and this is a good example by Kaabo, that is a generic Chinese battery, okay? That means the cells in it are generic. They don't have a brand on it. Ours is an LG branded. LG is Samsung, by far, the best lithium-ion battery cells that you can purchase, okay? They are really good cells. So our battery is an LG, okay? So the difference is this, okay? And it's too bad that people don't understand it the other way. But so, this battery is by far the most amp hours than any other battery in this, in this one or in the 60 volts, okay? The 60 volt, what they do is when they go to the 60 volts, they lower the amp hours, okay? So it's a give and take, but you get 52 volts and 32 amp hours with a branded LG in this battery, okay? Or you can get a Chinese cell, which I'm telling you, the sales guys, and what that means is, it's not so much in the front end, a little bit of performance difference, but in the end, the life of the battery, it's going to last about 100 charges more on a branded battery than a generic battery. You heard it from me. 100 charges more. That's a lot, guys. You won't see it till the end.
So what is it? So what is an amp hour? Then why is 32 better than 24?
Well, so the amp hours is telling you how long the range, okay, the battery will go, okay? So the bigger that number, the longer it's going to go, okay? So with that said, a 52 volt, okay, will not go in theory as long as a 60 volt, right? But if it has the extra amp hour, what is the amp hour on this battery?
24.
Okay, so there you go. It's a 24 amp hour, guys. Okay, 60 volt, or it's a 32 amp hour. All right, and by the way, it's a 24 amp hour generic, okay, style Chinese battery, or a 32 amp hour, branded battery, and it's a 52. So the difference in the voltage pretty much evens out, guys.
Well, and if you look at the specs, so RS can go up to 50 miles an hour, theirs can go up to 43. RS has a range of 60 miles, and theirs has a range of 56, I believe. Once the specs go up, So higher volts, lower amp hours. Ours has lower volts, higher amp hours. There's also a difference in the speed controls, which we won't go into today.
Yeah.
But that's the third component that determines speed and range. So if you look at, the combination, if you're looking for speed and range combined, the spec sheets say that the RS5 Max has a faster speed and a longer range, which you would think one would be the other. But in this case, ours is both faster and longer.
And I can tell you why. It's a 24 amp hour battery, okay? And the controller itself, I'm not sure what the watts are
I don't know.
The amps, the amps are on that battery. So whatever the amps are on that controller, it's much less than what our amps are on our. We have a 70 amp controller, guys. It's a one sine wave controller. That's it. Just one, not two. And that is what makes this scooter what it is as far as speed, okay? But to tell you that this scooter will go, up to 50 miles an hour, okay, that's a 60-volt battery, guys, and so it's important to understand that there's, when you start getting into the difference in 52-volt and 60-volt, you got to really dial in and see exactly what you're looking at, because this scooter will beat and compete and beat most of the 60-volt scooters out there, okay? It is a true 50-mile-an-hour scooter, and it has got true range of, and guys, let's talk about this real quick, Tyson. We get those out there, because I'm just not a fan of the way they do these tests. The 60-mile test, it's all bullshit, okay? It is. It's smoke and mirrors, and I don't like it at all, and I'll be the first to tell you that. Any customer that walks in here, or any customer that calls us up, I'm going to be, everybody will, here, we'll be as transparent as possible. We'll tell you straight up, okay? If you're riding real-world miles or real-world range on that scooter, okay, I can tell you right now, you're not going to get that. You're going to get about, just cut it in half. If you ride like I do, which is, I ride like a wild man, I'll be the first to admit, I'm going to get about half. And I'm talking about if you're going throttle hard the whole time, stop and go, that is going to be about a 30 miles, scooter. But 30 miles is a long damn time to stand on a scooter. Think about it.
But let's not put a number on how fast you can go, because there's lots of different variables: hills, weight, wind. For the most part, real world, most people get more than 30 because they're not going full throttle all the time. So
that's what I'm saying. So that's understand. That's very important to understand. I ride like a crazy man. Okay, so I go as hard as you can possibly go. So if you're that rider, cut it in half. If you're just, one of those that just, likes to ride a little fast every now and then, you're going to get probably 40 miles out of it, and then if you're chilling, you're going to get 50, so there is that, the actual testing is accurate. It does get 60 miles, just so you understand, is based on about 140 pound rider. Okay. It's got 3 gears. So gear 1, which is the slowest gear, and 1 motor. It's got dual mode. It's got, single mode. And with in gear 1 and in perfect conditions outside, you're going to get 60 miles. It's tested 60 miles. But I just like everybody to know the truth. Okay, we don't like to hide anything here. Okay, so
all right. And I did just add a little add a cart button on the bottom of your screen. If you're trying to buy the RS5 Max, you can, just by clicking the button on the bottom of your screen. So
I got to tell you this, guys. They don't know. I'm throwing this out there. Anybody that buys this scooter tonight during, I tell you what, I'll give you till midnight. Okay, until midnight. And we don't need to do this because scooters are starting to sell like crazy. Business is really floating and picking up because of the warm weather. It's been crazy winter in Denver. It's not. We not had a winter. We just skipped it. Went straight to spring. Which I've been there for 21 years. I've never seen anything like it. But with that said, anybody that buys a RS5 tonight between now and midnight, okay, this is not on the screen. I'm just telling you this, okay? We'll go back in and credit your account $100 cash, okay? We'll give you $100 back if you buy a scooter tonight between now and midnight, okay? That's a part of joining the show. That's the gift that we give you for being here and joining us and being a part of this, okay?
Great. That sounds even better.
Yeah.
All right, so back to who are we talking about today? The Mantis King.
Yep.
So the brakes. Ours has the nut hydraulic disc brakes, and theirs has the Zoom hydraulic disc brakes. So they're both hydraulic, but if I am Joe Schmo, why do I get nut brakes instead?
Yeah, so and that's why, guys, why we pick nut brake. Nut and Magura are the only two brands that we will ever put on any of our scooters. I can tell you that, okay? And there's a reason for that. You know, if we have two more scooters that are in development right now, and you're going to see, you know, this is a theme with us, okay? We use the highest end components, okay? And that's just the way we do it. So the nut brake, all right, is the testing speaks for itself, okay? I can't, you know, I'm not going to go into the science of it. The black and white testing, if you look at all the testing and all the, you know, the data that's out there, the nut brake is the premier brand of braking in this industry, okay? It's much better than a Zoom. A Zoom is a brake that is, they will do OEM and they will do generic braking, or they'll put their a company's brand on it for them, okay? Nut doesn't do that. They refuse to do that. You know, Nut is definitely the premier brand. That's the one we use, and you know, for that reason, you know.
Okay. One thing that I would say that theirs is, you know, has a slight advantage is the suspension. Ours has hydraulic suspension, great suspension. We'll talk about that in a little bit more. But theirs is a KKE adjustable shock.
Yeah. So guys, you know, there's a reason. Okay, KKE. You know, we have a great relationship with these guys, and you know, they actually have custom designed the R6 and RX7. You know, similar to this one right here, which I guarantee wasn't custom done, but this is a generic, you know, size brake that they put on the scooter. It is a KKE is a fantastic suspension system. Okay. I'll say this though, you say that, Tyson, but the ours is a generic brand. Okay, it is adjustable. And by the way, guys, you know, if anybody's questioning or wondering how that works, there's a little screw, okay, that's inside that. You know, if you look at the where the dial is, where you turn it to adjust it, there is a screw inside there. Just loosen that screw a little bit, and then use a spanner wrench, and you can adjust it. Okay, that's how it adjusts. We get a lot of questions on that. I guess it can be somewhat confusing, but you have to undo the screw a little bit, and then you know that you can, with the spanner wrench, you can do it. But you know, back to your point, Tyson. I mean, this is a fantastic shock that we put on this RS5. We've used it the same one for all three of them. Okay, yep. So I'm proud of that. Now that may change eventually, but anyway, right now, I mean, this is a really good shock.
And one thing, so to sort of tie this into the suspension, is the weight limit. So our weight limit for a person is 330 pounds.
Boom.
Their weight limit is 260. So that's a huge
big difference, guys.
And our, you know, we were given an award, I think, last year for the best scooter for people over 220 pounds in this class. So
yeah, big boy scooter.
You know, we get lots of people in here that, you know, are our size or height and, you know, more weight. That's a huge concern of theirs is, okay, it says 260, so what if I'm...
Well, let's just be straight with this, guys. Okay, guys, let me tell you something. Okay, this is the USA, right? We like to eat, all right? Check it out. I've had many riders, okay, that have called me up and had the same, you know, they're concerned and they want to know that, make sure that there's enough weight load on the scooter. I have sold so many 300-pound plus scooters to this scooter right here that I can't even imagine. I mean, there's a ton of them, okay? So, and they have done phenomenal. If you get close to that 260 or 265, that you know, you got to be really careful with this. You start bottoming out,
right?
Okay,
and that's what I was going to say. Even if you're 250, if you're on our scooter, that's not going to, you know, really affect the performance.
Not at all.
You're going to maybe go a little bit slower, but as far as, you know, going over potholes or curbs, whatever, you're not going to feel that. Whereas on the Kaabo, if 260 is the max and you're at 240, maybe even 230, the performance is going to be affected. Definitely the speed. And most likely the cushion of the ride,
for sure,
most likely,
no doubt about it, no doubt about it. So going through the Mantis, continuing.
Yeah, and so we'll do two big things that are different in my mind. So the tires, you know, sort of along the same lines as the suspension. Ours are 10.5 inch by 3.5. Theirs is 10 inches by 3 inches. So you have an inch difference total in, you know, both the radius and the width. Which
what that amounts to, guys,
a lot, but it is a lot.
It's more rubber on the road. Okay, so more rubber on the road, guys, is more safety, right? That's the bottom line. So this is the widest tire that is offered in this class. Okay, we offer that on this scooter. But switching back over real quick, I'm going to go to the water protection. Okay.
Yep. So theirs is IPX5. So
listen up, guys.
The first number is dust rating, and the second is water. So ours is IP67. They aren't rated for dust. They're just rated for water, which is 2 numbers less. Now, we don't need to get into specifics about what that means.
but it's important to point out.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so guys, so always understand this. Every Roadrunner scooter, and this is just another thing. We all these things add up. Yeah. Okay. In the end, if you add all this stuff up and you get the customer service on top of it, you're getting a fantastic, company that you're doing business with. Okay. So the IP67, it's 2 numbers. The first one is going to be the water rating. The second one's going to be the dust rating. All right. Did I get that right, Tyson?
Yeah. Okay. No, the other way around.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. So the water rating is first or second?
The water rating is second.
Second, okay. First. So the dust rating is 67 is the 6. The water rating is the 7. 7 obviously is probably more important, but the dust is very important too, okay? So most you will see a 6 sometimes, but it doesn't have 2 numbers. Apollo, the Phantom does have 2 numbers, but that's only one in this class. But, so 67, we make sure we cover all bases, okay? We cover the water the best you can, and we cover the dust the best you can. All right, it's a 67 rating on all of our scooters. So that's important, guys. That's a big, big deal for a lot of riders out there. You're down in the South, in Florida, and Georgia, Atlanta. Guys, listen. I know. I've talked to many people. All right, and we were a distributor for 2 years. I learned a lot from that. Okay, and that's when we started doing our own manufacturing. And I learned from the mistakes that they were making, and they wouldn't adjust them for me. So I made sure the corrections were made.
Yep. So just to sort of summarize the RS5 Max versus the Kaabo Mantis King GT 60-volt scooter. A good scooter.
Yeah, it's a fine scooter, guys. They've sold a lot of those scooters. Okay,
but just to summarize the differences, like our Roadrunner's advantage, we have the battery. So the range and the speed, which the battery and the
controller
and the motors combine. Better range, better speed than the
That scooter's only, I think, 1,000 watts, isn't it? On the motors?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Huh? Yeah, I think it's 1,000 watts, guys.
Yeah,
I think
1,100.
It's 11. So it's 1,100 watts. Yeah. We've got, what do we got? 14. What do we got? Yeah. Let's see. No, 12. We're 1,200 watts.
1,400 watts.
No, I'm sorry. My bad. So the old one was 1,200. So 1,400 watts times 2. Okay, that one's 1,100 watts times 2. The controller on that scooter, I would say probably is a.
But we don't need to guess.
Yeah, 25 or 30.
But to summarize again, you're not on the
I have that information. I'll let him talk.
Better speed and range which affects the battery, the speed controller, the motors, whatever, than the Kaabo. Ours has better speed, better range tested. The brakes, we have in our opinion, a better brand than we have nut brakes compared to the Zoom. Better water rating and dust rating, bigger tires, and they have adjustable shocks.
Okay, let's talk price.
Price.
Where's the price at?
Ours is $19.99. Theirs is around the same. And most of the scooters that we're comparing are very similar in pricing. So we'll pull up the pricing in just a second.
Yeah, the price is important. But I mean, so guys, all these scooters are pretty close within price, within $200 or $300. But the things that were just listed that he just spoke of. I mean, guys, I don't know, if I'm looking for a new scooter, I want the best one I can get for the money, okay? I mean, we're just trying to share with you guys what is the offer for what you're paying, okay? That's it.
All right, so let's do the RS5 Max versus the Tevrun Blade GT II.
Oh, the Tevrun.
Tevrun is they've sort of become a little bit more
prevalent in the industry for sure.
It's more visible, I guess, is a good way to say it.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. So with that said, it's a funny story, real quick. So I just got those in there. So the owner of Tevrun, or one of his main guys, right? He was dialing in on different distributors and companies around the United States. He hit me up last summer. Okay, he wanted to come into Denver and he wanted to wine and dine me and and show us or I guess decide if he wanted to use Roadrunner, which we would not have done it. We would not have done it to distribute his product. Tevrun and these scooters are distributed by several dealers, guys. Okay, what does that mean? That means mass production. Okay. You don't get the niche. You don't get the the quality control. You don't get the one-on-one like this. This is a niche scooter, guys, that we design, we build, we manufacture. We're in charge of it. You start getting different distributors involved, and around the country, and it can turn into you become a very small peon. Okay, that's the bottom line, and I've seen it happen.
All right, so let's go. We'll do this sort of the same thing. We'll sort of talk about the highlights where we're different, and I'll ask you a couple of questions. So. They have a 60-volt, 26-amp-hour battery. Ours is 52-volt, 32 again. Speed, ours is up to 50. Theirs is up to 53. Range up to 60 for the RS5 Max, and the range for the Teverun Blade is only 50 miles. So theirs has more motor watts, 1600 compared to 14. So if I am a person that doesn't know a ton about the engineering of scooters, but I would assume that the reason why it's a little bit faster is the motor and their speed controls might have a little bit more amps to it.
Okay, so important to note, okay, this is the stretch even comparing our scooter to this scooter, because not only is it a 60 volts, okay, it is an 11-inch. Okay, so understand that, guys. So, it is a heavier scooter. How much is the scooter? I don't know how much it weighs, but
it's 5 pounds less than the RS5.
Is it 5 pounds less? Okay. So it's 5 pounds less than the RS5, and it's an 11-inch scooter. So that tells me that, the scooter, obviously, the aluminum on the scooter and, the components and stuff are lighter. You figure for yourself on that. There's a reason for that. But this scooter is sold by many distributors. Okay. And also the scooter, again, it's an 11-inch. So we're comparing a 52-volt scooter, guys, a 10-inch 52-volt, to an 11-inch 60-volt. And guess what, guys? This scooter, the RS5, it's right there with it. There's not much that, as far as speed and, the performance of the scooter itself, it's right there. So we could not compare this scooter to 52-volt scooters. This would not even be a conversation, guys. So we had no choice but to put this scooter up against the 60 volts and the 11-inch scooters, because that's what this scooter is. Okay, it is a lot of scooter, guys, for the price. I think what is the price of the $16.99 or something like that?
It's on sale right now. Normally it's about $1,900.
Yeah, it's usually $1,900, $19.99 or whatever, guys. It's $16.99. This scooter, the Pro and the Max, both RS5, all of our scooters right now, they are less expensive now than they were Black Friday. Okay, they'll never go cheaper. I promise you that. Okay, we got to make a little bit of money. But with that said, if you're going to look, if you're looking to buy a scooter, it's getting warm outside, guys. Now is the time, right? And if you're going to do it, I promise you these prices are going to go up soon. Hey, little girl, come here. Look who just came in the room. Come on. Come here. Come on. Look at this. Oh,
she doesn't like our podcast room for some reason.
Little Sugar, guys. You guys remember Sugar, don't you? This is my little Australian Shepherd, my little miniature. She's a sweetheart. She got a shave. She got her first real shave, and she actually loves it. But anyway, so back to the scooter thing. We just if we really try to compare these things volt to volt, watts to watts, we wouldn't have a discussion right now, because that's why we have to jump this scooter up in class about two different notches in order to make it work.
Yeah. So maybe size doesn't matter, as some people say.
That's what they say. I don't know.
Okay, so let's go just sort of compare. So speed, about the same, honestly. The range is much better for ours, the RS5. Again, they use...
how many amp hours is that battery?
26, so a little bit more than the other one we talked about.
Yeah, but it still doesn't get the range that ours does.
Exactly, yeah. So a little bit faster, so 3 miles an hour, and who knows how they tested it. But anyway, they have Zoom disc brakes. We have nut hydraulic disc brakes.
Big difference.
Yeah, as we talked about. They don't have adjustable shocks. They have the 11-inch by 4-inch tires. Ours are 10.5-inch by 3.5. However, you can put an 11-inch tire on the RS5.
So that's the next thing I was going to say. So guys, when we redid this design on the third rendition of this scooter, okay, to make it perfect, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give people the ability to be able to put a 10-inch, or if they wanted a bigger tire, because again, I listen to what everybody's saying. Okay, a lot of people wanted an 11-inch or 11-inch tire on this scooter, and guess what? We gave them what they wanted. All right, so we created a 6.5-inch hub motor. All right, and on that 6.5-inch hub motor, you can put a 10.5 large 10-inch or an 11-inch PMT. You can put the PMT, tire on this scooter, and guys, you have the option. So that's why we did that.
Yep. And one thing that I do want to point out that the Teverun Blade does not have are two things. Is one, it doesn't have three things. A branded battery. It's Chinese branded battery. It doesn't have a removable battery. And it's not all of the systems is plug and play component.
So that's key, guys. So think about this, okay? So, all right. You guys, most of these 90... Well, you know what? This is the only scooter, all right, in this class that has a removable battery. All right. So with that said, what do you get? There's 10 screws that go on the outside edge of these plates of these scooters. Okay. It takes wow I mean, it's a pain in the ass. You got to take it apart, all right, to get inside. And when you get inside of it, the actual cables are not plug and play cables. All right. I mean, yeah, they will, you can disconnect them, whatever, but they're not simple. Okay. Every single component, guys, on this scooter, every one of them. This took me a while, okay? It took a long time. I couldn't figure out why the wheel. When you had a flat tire, you couldn't take the damn wheel off to take it to the damn tire shop if you wanted and get it fixed. Crazy, Tyson.
Yeah,
crazy.
Well, so, a quick story about that is somebody that had a awesome scooter, AUSOM, who could figure out what country that scooter is from. It's so awesome correctly, right?
Thieves.
They brought in their scooter, couldn't take the tire off to get it fixed. And actually, I got her to buy a Roadrunner scooter instead. Her name's Destiny, and she's a nurse here in Denver, and she's amazing. So she brought it in awesome, and it came back with an awesomer RS5.
More awesomer.
Scooter. Yeah, more
guys,
awesomer.
That's a perfect example. But China, and guys, I have a great relationship with my factory, okay? Those guys work just for us. They build just for Roadrunner scooters. And, we've developed a great relationship, okay? So I've learned a lot, okay? And these guys don't think about the U.S., the riders that are actually riding these things.
Well, they do the things for the cheapest way possible without worrying about quality.
They cut corners. That's all they do, okay? It's as cheap as possible, right? And that's not what we want. We know that. Destiny's a perfect example of that, right? We want convenience, we want accessibility, and we want safety. That's what we're giving you guys in these scooters, all right? And we want people to understand that, all right? And after we sell it to you, we're going to back it up. Yeah. That's the most important thing, guys, okay?
Serviceability, ease of doing yourself. We have tons of do-it-yourself videos online as well, but it's not. We don't do things just for the fun of it. We do it because people tell us something and we listen. And if enough people tell us to us and it makes sense, then we're going to change it to help our customers out. That's
absolutely.
The bottom line.
100% for sure.
So brake system's different. The tires, we talked about the tires. Serviceability, we just talked about that. I think we had a Blade a couple of years ago. It wasn't this version, but I was unimpressed with the Blade scooter.
Well, I'll let you guys go there with that, but it's I rode it one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
But yeah, again, Tevrun has sort of been more prominent lately, I think, in the scooter world.
Well, they made a big splash last summer.
We want to sort of talk about the brand and a similar scooter to the RS5, but in my opinion, it's not very similar for what you get.
Yeah, it's it is what it is, and there's several people you can buy it from out there, guys. So with that said, you just make sure that you can get the parts that you need, you can get the service that you need, because that's so key afterwards. As far as issues and problems with the scooter, I encourage you to read online because there are some ongoing issues that this brand has had. Again, guys. It's my job to report the facts. I've got most of these scooters right here in house. I own them, and I've ridden, most of them. This scooter is not a bad brand. It is a decent brand scooter. I will say that.
All right. So the next one is the Nami Klima, which this is probably the one I get the most calls about on asking. People are just like, oh, well, should I get the RS5 or the Nami?
Uh-huh.
Nami has a good-looking scooter. I like, the aesthetics of it to me are nice-looking. Of course, we like the RS5 a little bit more, but it's an aesthetic-looking scooter. The all-black is pretty cool-looking, in my opinion. But let's talk about the specs real quick. So they have a 60-volt, 30-amp-hour LG battery, 2,800-watt motors, same as ours. The speed is up to 50 miles an hour. Theirs is up to 40 miles an hour.
Which is amazing.
Which they must have a lower speed controller.
Well, they do. They have a small speed controller. Yep.
And then the range is the same, both at 60 miles. So very similar specs. Like, a lot of people, for good reasons, are have a hard decision between the Nami Klima and the Roadrunner. So let's sort of try to dive into why they're different. But
okay.
So one difference I'm looking at, well, two first, is they don't have a removable battery.
Huge, guys.
And they have Logan hydraulic disc brakes.
So the Logan brand is not a bad brand, guys. Okay, I own a couple of the Emotions, not Emotions, the Namis. I own Emotion as well. But the Namis, the Logan brakes They're not nut brakes. They're not McGurr brakes. Okay, it's kind of like it's like the Zoom. It's just not the same. And if you test them back to back and ride them back to back on a scooter, you'll see what I'm talking about. It is a big difference. Okay, so that's kind of a big difference. Yep. The removable battery is a huge difference. I mean, there's no other scooter in this class, guys, that's going to compete with this. Nobody else can say they have a removable battery but us. We're the only ones. Mm-hmm. So that is a big deal. So think about that.
And one big difference looking at the specs is the rider weight capacity. So ours, again, is 330. Mm-hmm. Theirs is 265. Again, huge. Mm-hmm. I'm not good at math, but what is that?
Well,
60 pounds? 65 pounds different.
Yeah, so I've had people who have bought these scooters in the 260, 265 class, right? In that weight class. And, they bottom out. If they do any kind of activity, like, jumps off of a curb or, whatever, where it's going to take, a substantial hit on the suspension, guys, they bottom out, okay? It is important to realize that because this, the quicker you understand this before you buy it, you don't make the mistake of getting into the situation where people have to call me up and tell me the mistake they made after the fact, and they want to step up and buy a scooter that works for them. So that's important.
Yep. Another difference is the water rating. Again, water and dust rating. Theirs is IP55, and ours is IP67. Again, so he doesn't seem like a lot, but the difference,
it's a huge difference.
The 5 to 6, and then this 5 to 7 is a lot. And we don't know if that means everything or just certain parts of the scooter either. So,
well, that's key. Okay, so what Tyson just said, guys, listen, when you see these IP ratings, okay, there are many scooters. If you read through the fine details and keep reading, right, that rating, the IP rating, is not on the whole scooter, okay? It is on the battery. Okay, usually, all right, or the motors. It's not on the whole entire scooter. So make sure the rating that you're reading is for the entire scooter. And I'll tell you the difference between IP67 and IP55. All right, the first scooter we sold was IP55. All right, and we sold the IP55 for a couple of years before that on with a different brand as a distributor. I'm gonna tell you something, guys. We had all kinds of problems with people riding, when it was in the South when it rained or whatever, and they get it wet or whatever. We had a lot of issues. All right. We do not have issues with moisture. Zero. None. We don't have calls on that, guys. That is very, very subtling to me. You know what I'm saying, Tyson? No, we don't get those calls. Tyson, you were here before when we got those.
I usually don't divert to do a funny story, but would you tell it, like, this is when we first
How
started.
funny is it, Tyson?
It's a pretty good one. When we first started, we were in the basement of the house.
Started the basement
answering phone calls, and a lady called telling us that her scooter had water damage because maybe she went through a car wash, possibly.
Yeah, she actually
Handheld.
Went through a car wash, guys, and started hosing that damn thing down, with the big spray, and wanted to know why there was an issue, right? It was an IP55 rated scooter, so there was a big problem. She sent it back to us, and we went through it, and it was pretty funny, guys. It was. We still talk about that one to this day because she thought she was completely in the norm. Now, had she had a Roadrunner IP67 scooter, she'd have been fine.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
issues.
So, not that we recommend taking it through a car wash, but you can hose it down with a hose and wipe it off and dry it. So
cleaning is easy.
Yeah. One difference is so we talk about the weight capacity. They do have a lighter scooter by 9 pounds. However, let's talk about how we can make the RS5 lighter by 8 pounds.
So this is important, okay? Yes, it's an 88-pound scooter. Again, I don't apologize for that, all right? It's a 50-mile-an-hour scooter. It needs to be solid, and this is a solid scooter. You remove that battery, guys, okay, before you got to go upstairs or whatever you want to put in the car, whatever. You remove 17 or 18?
18.
You remove 18 pounds. So 18 minus 88 is going to be 70 pounds. You reduce it to a 70-pound scooter just like that. Okay?
And, the nice thing about that is, yes, it's going to be lighter if you need to transport it. However, those 9 pounds when you're riding it adds a bunch of safety and stability to the scooter, if I'm not mistaken.
What's that now?
If it's 9 pounds heavier, how does that benefit the ride of the scooter?
9 pounds heavier when?
When you're riding the scooter.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, so guys, if you can have a heavier scooter when you're riding it, have a heavier scooter. Who cares? I mean, you're not. It doesn't bother you. It actually makes it better because you have a better solid foundation under you, in the frame of the scooter and the components to go with it. So, but if you can remove that 18 pounds, all right, when you're ready to move the scooter around, which is when you want to, worry about the weight, that's when you do it. So really, all these scooters are comparing their weights out there. This is a 70-pound scooter, guys.
When you're
if you wanted to be.
it, yeah.
All right, that's the bottom line.
All right, so just to summarize the Nami Klima versus the RS5 Max again, a good scooter. We have, we've had Namis and they're good.
Mr. Chan makes a great scooter, no doubt about
it. They have a nice looking scooter, well performing scooter. If I'm a customer calling, why would I want to pick the RS5 Max over the Nami Klima?
So, I mean, just going real quick, the IP67 rating, guys, is huge. I don't know why any company builds a scooter with an IP55 rating anymore. I mean, it's 2026. You got to get better, okay? That's the bottom line, because people will have issues with this, and they do have issues with this. Read it online, okay? Don't believe me. Read all this stuff online. That's huge. The removable battery, I can't speak enough about it, guys. We're the only ones that have one, all right? And I just keep going back to that because it is so important. All right?
Weight capacity.
And the brand of the battery, right? So it's a generic branded battery. Is that generic or is it real?
It is not branded.
Not branded.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they have a much lower weight capacity.
Yeah. So it's a lighter scooter. You got to be careful with that, guys, when it does get a little slick outside. But when it gets a little slick outside, a little bit of rain, all right, you got to be careful, number one, because, that scooter is lighter, all right, and, it just doesn't, it doesn't have the water rating that ours does, so you really shouldn't be riding it anyway in the rain. So
same range, speed is much less, actually. So same range, ours is faster. Both, so it does have adjustable shocks.
What are the shocks on that one?
Yeah, KKE.
Okay, they're KKE. So it has a different brand of shock. The KKE, we love the KKE. Okay, so that was probably the one up that scooter has on ours.
Yeah, that's it. But again, overall, very similar scooters. I think what would tip it in our favor is removable battery, better brakes,
and the water rating,
higher water rating, and a capacity, an 65-pound higher capacity weight. Right?
Guys, think about that. If you're looking at dollars and cents and just a couple $100 or how much? What's the price on the scooter?
About the same.
Yeah, so it's almost identical. I think that scooter's more. But so with that said, guys, that's a lot of stuff that Tyson just threw out there. I mean, think about that. That's a lot. If you're trying to weigh it out and figure out, if you on one side put this and the other side put the other scooter, you put them two side by side and you go down it, and which one's the better scooter? Guys, there's a lot of things that are different about these scooters, okay? And it's not little, it's big.
And one thing, especially these first three, is I want to point out is where these companies are based out of. We are based here in the United States. In the first three, so we have Nami, Tevrun, and Kaabo are based in China. And
they're all in the same little circle, guys, that Roadrunner's in, all right? They've never seen a Roadrunner before. They've never seen an American come in and get in the middle of their stuff. And they don't like it, but you know what? They're getting used to it because we're not going away.
And I think why that matters is we do answer the phones. We're here. We have we talk to customers every single day, and we make, adjustments based on that. Whereas if I call, can I talk to the owner of Kaabo? I don't think so.
You don't talk to the owner, but a lot of those guys use distributors, and even the distributors are,
but they're not the manufacturer, and we are.
Yeah. So, guys, I mean, there's a lot of things that we're talking about here. Okay, there's not just one or two things. There's many things that we've discussed. Okay, that's what the message we're trying to convey to you all. Okay, we're not trying to brag. We're not trying to make ourselves bigger than everybody. We're just trying to tell you guys and share with you the facts of what's going on. Okay, and telling you, why would you want to do business with a Chinese company when we're right here and we build a damn good product? Why would you want to pump them up? Okay, it's China, it's the United States. Which one do you want? I don't know. You tell me.
Right, I agree. Obviously, we agree. And there's so many scooters out there. So if there's a couple of things that could be better in the long run, then I would choose that one. Not save $100 or $50. I would choose a company that has you go online and look. We have a great reputation for customer service. It's not just, we're not saying that. Watch customer reviews, watch videos.
That's the thing. We're not blowing
bring
smoke.
More people in here.
Yeah,
customers are going to tell us why this experience is better after you purchase this.
And how many customers have we had come in our front doors or call us on the phone, and we switch them over to Roadrunner, and afterwards, they're just like, they're amazed and they're really pissed off, honestly, that they didn't do this to start with because they wasted money, before it all happened. So, and again, guys, we're doing this for a reason. Yes. Okay. We want you guys to understand what's going on out there. And we want you guys to make a very educated decision when you go to purchase your scooter. These are not cheap items. Okay. This is transportation for a lot of people. We know that. All right. We understand the importance and we want to make sure that you guys are as educated and understand the facts as much as possible before you make that decision.
And, everybody works hard for their money. They're not going to just waste it.
Hell yeah,
and
man.
We want people to feel like they have a good value for what they purchase. And, I think that we give a great value for what people get.
Yeah. Have we hit all the scooters?
We got the Apollo Phantom. So
let's get through that one real quick.
Not a Chinese company, but a Canadian company, which we just beat in hockey a couple weeks ago. So I know they're still pissed off about that.
And Apollo, guys, I would say Apollo is probably, next to Roadrunner. It's the next brand out there because they kind of do what we do. All right, they do things, very similar. And they've been around a little longer than we have actually, but they are a Canadian company. They're not in the United States. They have, I think, an office in New York, but they're based out of Canada. So, and I give them kudos. They're a decent company. They are.
And they have nice looking scooters. And every customer that's had an Apollo that comes in to look at ours, and this is not to badmouth them, is everybody says they have really nice looking scooters. The aesthetics are nice. The lighting's really cool. But the two things I hear, and we'll talk about this, is doesn't go fast enough, doesn't have enough power, in the suspension is they wish they had better suspension. So those are the top three things that I hear, customers wish was better with Apollo. They come to us, they see the speed, the power, the durability of the scooters compared to the Apollo.
And the brakes can be a question as well. We'll talk about that, but the brakes can be an issue. Either they went in 1,000% with regenerative braking. Okay, that they live around that, and that's fine. That's their thing. That's fine. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. We like to take a more universal approach. Okay, and we know that hydraulics bring hydraulic brakes on the scooter is just it's a better and easier way of doing and safer, in my opinion, of braking. But again, their scooters don't go as fast as our scooters do. So that is a big difference. There's no way they could get away with the braking system they use with a very, very high powered fast scooter. There's just no way, not do it adequately. So,
well, and one thing is, what was I going to say? So this is actually the only other 52 volt scooter that we are comparing to tonight. So
let's go apples to apples.
They have 52 volt, 27 amp hour Chinese branded battery. Ours is 52 volt, 32 again, as we said. They do have more motor watts. They have 1750 times 2. Ours is 14.
All right, check that out real quick, Tyson. So stop there. So they've got the battery's a little smaller. It's Chinese. But the motors, guys, are 1750 times 2. Okay, so that's almost 3,600. That's 3,500. Okay, so 3,500 watts. Ours is 2,800.
Yeah.
Our scooter goes 50 miles an hour up to, theirs goes up to 44.
Plus, our range is 10 more miles than theirs. The Roadrunner RS5 Max has 60-mile range. The Apollo Phantom 2.0 has a 50-mile range. So 10 miles is a lot.
It's a lot, and again, keep in mind, guys, that number, I don't like that number.
Again,
I'm not a fan of it.
Test conditions say ours is 10 more miles.
Yes, they are.
Ours are not hydraulic disc brakes. Theirs are semi-road dual discs.
You guys, the braking on this scooter compared to ours is night and day, okay? I'll let you do your homework on that part, but I will note this, and but the big asterisk, okay, do your homework on the braking.
And two things let's talk about that are different is the weight. First of all, theirs is 102 pounds with a non-removable battery, and ours is 88 with the removable battery, so you could actually make it 30 pounds less.
So 70 pounds compared to 102 if you take the battery out.
Slower scooter, slower range, so I'm not sure where the 14 extra pounds come from.
Aesthetically speaking, I'll say this right now. It's a great looking scooter, guys. It really is. It's a damn good looking scooter. I like the look.
The handlebar components are cool looking. And it has the same rider capacity of 330 pounds.
Right. They did that right, of course. Guys, this scooter is not a bad scooter, but I mean, it's like, it's a big a big scooter and it's a heavy scooter, and you can't make it any lighter, okay? So you get what you get day one, all right? This one, 102 pounds, ours 88 pounds. You can reduce it to 70 pounds, whatever. You make the decision, but it's a generic battery compared to an LG battery. It's got lower amp hours compared to ours. It's the only 52 volt that we've compared in this class, all right? And again, every single segment that we talked about is in our favor. Again, these are the facts. Okay, we're just sharing the facts with you guys. There's no other 52 volts that we really cared to compare our scooter to because it wasn't even close.
Yep.
So
it is actually $100 more.
It's $100 more.
Yes, actually, the 52 volts $100 more.
Okay.
They have a 60 volt that's $28.99.
They do,
but we won't talk about that one. But remember today. Only today.
Today, guys. Remember I told you.
If you buy the RS5 Max, it'll be not $19.99, but $18.99.
So any RS5 Pro or Max, guys, okay, we're going to give you guys $100 back. All right. So if you order between now, Mountain Time, midnight tonight. So Mountain Standard Time, midnight tonight. If you order the scooter between now and then, we will refund you guys back $100 of what you purchased on that scooter.
It's a pretty good deal.
Hell yeah. It's a good deal, man. I came up with that. I just pulled that on my ass, guys. I mean, really.
So again, Apollo versus Roadrunner RS5 Max. Again, a good looking scooter for what you get, the money you're paying for what you get.
We've made many things. Yeah. Okay. Now I'll say that Apollo, they claim to use different, resources around the country to repair their scooters. Guys, this is kind of important. I mean, real quick, okay, because we don't have a lot of time left. But I want to say this. So, guys, we don't partner with a lot of different companies around the country, okay, to repair our scooters for a reason. All right. I don't want people working on my scooter that don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay. And these guys out there, and I'm not saying Apollo and Jim, but they're one of them. But I mean, there's many companies that will partner with other companies that they don't know who the hell they are. They just partner with them because they're doing the service that they expect or want them to do in the area they want them to do. Guys, listen, I can't tell you on two hands in the last year how many scooters we've had to bring back into Denver, okay, because we couldn't fix them remotely online with our service techs. All right, guys, listen, we design them correctly. We design them with plug and play components so that if something happens, we can diagnose it real quickly. We can ship it out to you guys, and you guys can put that component on and swap it out. Plug and play. That's it. Okay. That is the key. User friendly and very accessible. And that is the business model that we base our business off of. That's the way we roll. Okay. So that is important to understand. Just because somebody says they have a ton of service centers around the country, guys, I don't want anybody working on my scooter. I don't want anybody working on your scooter. And it's very, very rare that, again, less than 10 times in the last year that and we sold thousands, guys, that people had to send their scooter back to Denver because we couldn't figure it out remotely. That is key. Understand that, please. Okay. So wrap this up, Tyson. I think we're over time now, but guys, listen, we appreciate you all joining us. I hope that, I don't know how many people are online right now, but we hope that you guys got a lot out of this. We're just here to educate. We're here to let you guys know who we are, and to let you know that, what wait, go ahead.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So every scooter here has its strengths. Every one of them that we talked about, guys. Okay. What makes the Roadrunner RS5 Max different is that it combines the premium branded components like the LG batteries, like the nut brakes, and real ownership, okay? That advantage, like a removable battery, for instance, a tubeless tire, for instance. All of our scooters are tubeless tires. I don't think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Pinching tubes, guys, is so prevalent. So with that said, the stronger water protection we talked about, IP67, the easy serviceability. You guys, we're accessible at all times. If we're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, and noon to 5 on Saturday, we're here. We're accessible. And the direct manufacturer support. We design, manufacture, and sell our own product, not another one out there, okay? There's nobody else that does it. We sell Roadrunner only, and that's all we'll ever sell. That's the way it is. It comes from only the United States. We're owned. And we're high-performance scooters only, okay? That's all we sell. And, again, guys, we just want you guys to realize before you make the purchase that we're here, okay? And we would love to have and earn your business. That's it.
All right. Well, I think that was a good one.
All right, Tyson. Well, the guys, listen, we're not done here. We're done tonight, but we're not done here. We have found this to be a very nice tool, and we're going to continue to do these. And so we'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll have a brand new topic, and we're going to try to entertain you as much as possible. So if we're boring, we'll try to get not so boring.
I mean, we did talk a little trash about other people today, which we have tried not to do. So that was sort of fun.
Yeah, trash talk's always fun.
And
you can trust me, guys. They talk a lot of shit about me online. Trust me.
One thing that I forgot to mention was we do have a seat you can put on this. So
yeah. Talk about it.
Which I don't know. I don't know what other people can or can't. I don't want to say if they can or can't, but
I don't know. Don't advertise it.
It's a great seat. Easy to put on. It feels safe when you're on it, but and we'll talk about that another time. Like maybe we'll do an accessories show that talks about all the fun accessories. But you can put a seat on this thing.
It's the only scooter, guys, that we will ever. Well, I shouldn't say ever. It's the only. By the way, guys, I got those out there. We are working on, guys, our 48-volt scooter, okay? We are going to have a 48-volt scooter, all right, that we're going to release in the next few months. It's going to be a fantastic scooter. I think you guys will like it. And it's the first smaller commuter scooter that we've ever sold, and we're very excited about it. So stay tuned for that. With that said, we're going to sign off, guys. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. We feel the love. We appreciate the support. We thank you for the feedback because, guys, you guys have given us a lot for just 2 shows. This is the 3rd show. I'll take a look at what's on here after this. But we do appreciate everybody, and we appreciate your business. And if you're looking for a new scooter, guys, this is a good family to be a part of. Okay?
I think Dino is looking to buy one soon. So Dino, if you want to buy Dino, you've been on our shows before.
Dino's been on, Dino.
So if you're looking for one tonight, you're going to save $100 if you buy one tonight.
Dino, you can get a Pro for $15.99. You can get a Max for $18.99. It's never going to be that cheap again, dude. I'm telling you, if you're going to pull the trigger, now's the time. Okay, their prices are going to go up very soon. It's getting warmer outside. Just know that.
All right. Well, good night.
Good night, guys. Yeah. We'll see you next time.